Good day everyone. Today we are talking about Module 8, Slope. So first we define slope, which is the rate of change. Some key words when you're doing word problems are per and each. When you see those words, those are telling you where your slope, your variable, that is. Another definition people like to use is rise over run. When we talk about slope, there are four main classifications. If your graph is going up from left to right, we say that line has a positive slope. If your graph is going down from left to right, we say that is a negative slope. If it is straight horizontal, and it does not matter whether it's on the positive or negative side, we say the slope is 0. This is a horizontal line. Again, horizontal like the horizon. And our last one is what's called a vertical line. It goes straight up and down. And this slope is what we call undefined. Now, when talking about slope, there are a couple different ways to calculate slope. The first one is using a graph and just counting rise over run. So this first example asks us to draw the segment from D to H. So we find D, we find H, and we draw this segment. And now when we go to count the slope, we're going to count the rise first because that is on top. So we go 1, 2, 3 up. And then we're going to count the over. 1, 2, 3 over as well. So then we got 3 divided by 3 reduces to be 1. Now, a note to do when we're doing this, you should always start on the left point when you're looking at the graph, which one's further left, and then go to the right point. Here we go HB, so we draw our line from H to B, and if we go from, when we're doing H to B, we go down 2, so we represent that as negative 2, and then we go over 1, 2, 3, so our denominator is 3, and negative 2 over 3 doesn't reduce, so that one would be our final answer. Our next one is I to G. We find I to G, and it's this one right here. Well, when I count rise, I don't go up at all to go from I to G, so my rise is 0, and I went to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 0 divided by 5 is 0. And as we saw above, when it's a horizontal line, the slope is 0. The other way to do this, if we don't have a graph, is to use the slope formula. Now, the slope formula means that we are given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. So if we have 2 points, then our slope formula is y2 minus y1, so the change in y, over x2 minus x1, the change in x. Now, note, when you are doing this, if you do right minus left, you got to do right minus left for both of them. So our first example here, 2, 3, and 6, 11. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Again, you don't have to label the points, but if it helps you, by all means, label them. So you're going to take the second y value, 11, and the first y value, 3, and subtract them. Now, a trick I've seen some people do is they draw a line connecting, or a loop connecting the first terms, and a loop on top connecting the second terms. That means the top ones are what you're going to subtract on top. So you're going to do 11 minus 3. Then on bottom, you're going to do 6 minus 2. You don't have to draw the loops. You don't have to do the labels. It's just a matter of trying to do things that help us do this correctly. On top, we're going to do 11 minus 3 is 8. On the bottom, 6 minus 2 is 4. And then we always have to ask, does the fraction reduce? And 8 over 4 reduces to be 2. On the next one, again, label x1, y1, do the loop thing, whatever helps you to connect them. So we've got negative 7 minus negative 5. And you may recall then that a double negative becomes a positive. And on the bottom, we've got negative 3 minus 1. Notice it's not a double negative because our two negatives are not directly touching each other. On top, we've got negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. On the bottom, we've got negative 3 minus 1, negative 4. If you struggle with these, think about temperature. If it's negative 7 degrees and it goes up, it rises 5 degrees, it's now negative 2. If it's negative 3 degrees and it drops, because we subtract a degree, if it drops a degree, it's now negative 4. Negative 2 over negative 4, negative over negative becomes positive. 2 over 4 is 1/2. Go ahead and complete the rest of this worksheet, and when you finish, turn it into your teacher.